Right, so this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time now. Today I'm going to be showing you the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. Not the 4K, not the 6K, I am talking about this guy, the original Little Giant, the original BMPCC. Lots of people like to make this style of video called, is the so-and-so camera worth it in so-and-so year? Is the original Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, whew, that's a mouthful, worth it in 2020? To be honest, the title, is it worth it, so inconclusive, and it kind of feels long and tedious. So, is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera worth it for what you do? My bias review? Yeah. I love this camera. It has been my aim, my dream camera ever since I got into filmmaking. Unbiased review? Maybe? This is by no means a perfect camera. It has its flaws. It has character. So, let's find out. Cue the intro! I don't have one. I just felt like saying it. Right, so let's get this straight out of the way. The nitty-gritty specs of this camera. This little camera can be found for as low as $500 secondhand because it's old. It got released in 2013. It can be fully rigged out for around $1,000 to £1,200, I think. It's sort of an estimate. But rigging it up is not too hard. Like, boop, it's got a cage on it. And I need to take that cage off. Ooh, would you look at that? This thing. Oh, I forgot the feel of this. Look at it, it's tiny. The BMPCC has a Super 16 sensor and a Micro Four Thirds mount. Or an MFT mount, whatever you call it these days. They're both the same thing anyway. This camera can only shoot at 1080p 30 FPS, ProRes, or RAW cinema DNG files, straight to SD cards. This camera literally eats memory for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's crazy. Be prepared for beefy file sizes. Like, it chugs through memory. Like, a 256GB card gets me around an hour of record time in RAW, maybe a bit less. It's not like you're gonna record for an hour straight. The battery life on this thing is horrible. I'll get onto that later. If you worry that this camera can't shoot 4K, then I find that the viewing experience is pretty much the same to me. It actually adds more character to it. The camera uses a log picture profile, 13 stops of dynamic range to produce gorgeous, stunning, amazing, maravilloso Kugeki reference. Beautiful cinematic images, which are just the best. There I go, being biased again. Paired with the right lenses, the BMPCC produces this look, this cinematic look. I call it the BMPCC look. I don't know how to call it. I guess you could just call it cinema. It's the type of images you'd see in proper cinema. It's mind-blowing. This camera has a 2.88 crop, which is a bit annoying at times because you have to multiply your lenses by that amount, forget the right focal length. That is such a stubborn way of describing it. This camera is very lightweight. I would classify it as mega ultra lightweight. And yes, you can just fit it in your pocket. This camera is tiny for what it does. Hence the nickname I gave it, for Tiny Giant. Ooh, that just sounds cool. On the side of the camera, there is a LAN-C thingy, remote thingy, I don't know what it is. I have never used it. A headphone jack, a microphone jack, HDMI Type D, or micro HDMI. This messed me up when I was looking for it actually, because there are just so many HDMI cables out there. It's crazy. Finally, it has a 12 volt DC power input for external power, which is necessary and a must. And yeah, that's it. That's all that's on the side. This camera has a 3.5 inch LCD screen, which does feel quite small at times, and it doesn't tilt, which is a bit of an annoyance actually. The BMPCC has no autofocus, no IBIS, however, it does allow optically stabilized lenses. Optical image stabilized lenses. So, hand-holding this camera is very hard. I always recommend shooting on either a tripod or a gimbal. You might ask me, can this camera shoot slow-mo? To that I'll reply, it can shoot 30 FPS and you can slow that down by 80%. That's slow-mo, technically, you're slowing down motion. The ability to do that is a lot more impressive and powerful than you think. Like, ooh. If you do want to do buttery smooth slow motion crazy B-roll sequences like you see in travel videos, then lol. No. More people are being overwhelmed with specs and modern features to speed up and smoothen out their workflows. But this guy is not like that. It's chunky, it's manual. This camera won't help you. It won't hold your hand through the entire process. You need to know what you're doing because that's how it was designed. I talked to the guys over at Cosmos who shot an entire stunning film using this camera. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. They're honestly great people as well. They said, treat this camera with a professional approach and it will deliver. I think that's what they said. It was designed with a cinema camera in mind, and it truly shoots like a cinema film camera. The BMPCC has sensor technology of a camera with 4 to 5 times its price. It's incredible. Processing the image is also very different. The BMPCC does not produce clean, vibrant, ready-to-use images straight out of the bat. You need to know how to process the footage by color grading it. When you do process the images, just wow. Wow. Knowing a color grading suite like DaVinci is pretty much a must when using this camera, pretty much. This is a complicated beast of a camera. The batteries of this thing are a joke. I mean, they're absolutely horrendous. They pretty much die after 10 to 20 minutes. I pretty much forget about them. I didn't actually bring any batteries with me. Note, if you're going to use this camera, you're going to need an external battery plate. They aren't very expensive, but you'll just need one. I find that rigging up the BMPCC has fixed a lot of the issues and can fix a lot of the issues, but it does come at an extra cost. Is the BMPCC worth it? This is why I hate these types of videos. They are so open-ended. This camera is not perfect for everyone. This camera is definitely not for vloggers. Can you imagine? Like, I suck at vlogging. What am I talking about? Switch out the batteries. Turn it around. No autofocus. Making me sick thinking about it. That just wouldn't work, really. Is this camera for you? I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. I don't want to say go out buy one or yes, it is worth it. Go spend your money. I'm not going to tell you to do something like that. I'm just going to lay out the facts. This camera is absolutely phenomenal. It has the possibility to produce mind-blowing, and I hate to say this, cinematic and filmic video. Rigging up this camera is like making this camera go Super Saiyan. I found that rigging it up has fixed everything that I found wrong with this camera. It actually took it even further beyond. That is cringe. I like you. I really, really like you. This video is not going to do you justice. This camera manages to convey a feeling. It has this look which was just lost in the 4K version, but that's a story for another time. This camera by itself, just straight out of a box like this, is by no means complete. I like to call that character. My hands are going to do some weird stuff throughout this entire video. This camera is manual. You need to adjust everything manually. If you want to change a setting, you have to go into the menus, scroll through everything, and fix it manually. You need to understand what this camera is and isn't, what it can and can't do. It can't do everything. When I'm using this camera, it just feels like I'm in control of what the camera captures. It's one of those cameras that I can just pick up and it feels good. It gives me control over what stories to tell. And that is genuinely why I love the BMPCC so much. It's just cute and nice and juicy and amazing, and I love it.